Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the BBO NYG Podcast. I'm Mike. That's Jules. That's Vin. Jules, you came out all day with like a list of our for us to do homework, man. Where do you want to begin, man? It's your show.
Well, let's start with the signing. Vin, please, if you don't mind chiming in and doing the proper pronunciation, since we're starting the show this way today.
Marquand Manuel.
All right, here we go. That's what Marquand it is.
Marquand Manuel.
All right, so we literally had a scapegoat and fired our defensive backs coach, and now we brought in Manuel, who was a safeties coach for most of his career as far as coaching is concerned. He was a player as well. Bounced around on a few different teams. He coached at FSU, coached at the Jets. I mean, one thing I'll say is the Jets always have a pretty good defense. So anytime you bring in someone from that tree, it can't be a bad move. You know what I mean? I don't see it being any worse. He's got a good young core of guys in the backfield there.
We'll see FSU. I don't know if you know, Jules. Did anybody get drafted out of FSU defensive backs in the last few years or something?
There has. I can't think of names off the top of my head, to be quite honest with you. I should have looked that up a little bit, because it would have been back several years ago because he was there. I think he's been in the NFL now for like 5 years or 4 years.
Oh, wow. Like okay.
I got to double check that too. But, so it's definitely just, it's kind of hard to put like in the perspective, like who was the coach. And he was more of a safeties coach. So he really got to like just kind of like zone into one or two positions. So it gets a little trickier there, then the deep back coach and then the second, defensive coordinator, they get all the credit. And it's a promotion for the guy. He's coming from, good schools, a good school rather, and a good team, a defensive-minded franchise. Let's see what happens.
Now, here's a dumb question. Do you think to replace the defensive back coach, do you guys think it's like a Shane Bowen decision? Is it a Dable decision? Or is it like a Shane decision? Do you think he even goes beyond? I would think it doesn't get to Shane. It's really between the coaches themselves. Do you think it's more Bowen and Dable together, or you think Dable's like, yo, get this guy out of the building. Let's get somebody else in here. Like, what do you guys think?
I think they had that conversation, Dable. You know
what I mean? With Shane Bowen.
Yeah, I think they had that conversation. Like, listen, we had some Banks just fucking fell off the face of the planet. He, he looked so good the first year and then looked like shit. So somebody's got to take the blame. So it had to be him.
Okay. All right. So you know what? I actually stand corrected here because he's got a better resume than I first thought. To be quite honest with you, he spent very little time in Florida. It was more like one of those intern coach kind of student player things. That's what he did in Florida. He went right in 2012. He became an assistant special teams coordinator in Seattle. Then he was a defensive assistant again with Seattle. Then he was the assistant secondary coach. Then he moved over to Atlanta in 2015 and was a secondary coach. Then he was actually bumped up in the 17-18 seasons as a defensive coordinator for the Falcons. So he's a former DC here. And then he went to being the Eagles in 2020 as a D-back coach. And then he went over to the Jets from 2021 to 2024 as a safeties coach. Okay. And now we're bringing him back in as a defensive backs coach. He's got a lot of experience.
One last point on this guy, because I really know nothing. And I'm not even going to try to hire. Replacing a defensive back coach, does this point anything in the direction that the Giants are going to draft Travis Hunter?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean,
for us to replace this position group, does it kind of,
obviously, I want that to happen, but we're at 3, and now the story has come out that Deion Sanders does not want his son playing for Cleveland Browns. So now if he's going to force their hand, Cleveland's going to take their best offer from either the Raiders or the Giants. That's what everybody's saying. Hopefully it's the Raiders. Obviously, right. I think we all agree we don't want Sanders here.
Raiders pick where? 6?
They're like right behind us, right?
Are they 4?
No, New England's right behind us, so they're
5, right?
I think they're 5.
Yeah, they're 5 or 6. I think you're right. I think they're 5.
So that's my hope is that that kind of plays out where we have a chance to get him at 3. I know everybody's high on Carter, the defensive end from
I like him.
Jules's favorite college, Penn State, but
We're not doing that though.
I don't think so either.
Do Carter, baby.
Yo, we paid our entire defensive line, and Tibbs will probably get a 5th year option. They'll pick it up, I would assume. I don't think they're gonna invest in. They just put money on Burns and Beck.
Right. So then you're not gonna draft Carter, and you're also not gonna re-sign Ojulari?
Probably.
I mean, that's crazy. So then you got to do one of the two, right? You either got to re-sign Ojulari, or you got to then draft fucking someone.
They might say that's like a unit where I agree with you. I'm always
you need depth. You need depth. You clearly need depth.
I don't think they're thinking that. They're like, we already invested in this unit. It's time for we have other needs elsewhere.
You know what? That's a desperate for sounding fucking comment there. Just put that one out there.
we're desperate for a cornerback though, and that would just be perfect. I would think,
And listen, just to kind of like answer your question there, as far as like, does this mean we were leaning towards Travis Hunter or whatever? I'm not sure. I guess if he's there at 3, possibly. However, and I don't know what this means, right? The Tennessee Titans president of operations, whatever the heck it was, came out today earlier and said, as far as the number 1 pick goes, you can't pass up on generational talent. We won't do that. So what is that
talking about?
Exactly. What does that mean?
Mirrors. He wants us to ask, ask each other. What does that mean? That's smoke and mirrors to the 10th degree right there.
But now he's also putting pressure on that pick, because let's say he does go and get Cam Ward. Now Cam Ward is generational talent that you can't pass on. That kid better fucking deliver.
The Titans need a quarterback just as bad as we do. You know what I mean? They need a quarterback just as bad as we do. They do.
I mean, listen, anybody that didn't make the playoffs besides like Cincinnati and a couple other teams all need quarterbacks. You know what I mean? At the end of the fucking day, Jets can use a fucking quarterback. You know what I mean? Like,
but they're not all picking number 1. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, and that's why like that whole generational talent thing is interesting. And if Sanders is really that opposed to fucking the Browns or or any of these other teams, you never say anything about the Titans, right? I mean, if you look at Mel Kiper here, or he released his fucking big board today, he's got Sanders rated as the number 1 quarterback in this draft. Why? I don't know. I think he's just fucking on the hype train, and he's over fucking doing his noise. But he
also said McCarthy is ahead of them. He also said
Did you guys hear about the Sanders situation last year? The Giants had a 2nd or 3rd round grade on him last year. So if he came out last year, okay, draft him in the 2nd or 3rd round. I'm on board with that, because I think
I wouldn't be belongs.
So now all of a sudden this year, because there's no other good quarterbacks, all of a sudden he's rated number 1 or number 2. That's crazy to me. That's how you get organizations into trouble.
Exactly. Well said. It gets every organization into trouble, because now there's pressure. Why wasn't this pressure on the Kenny Pickett draft? This is the same quarterback class to me. I don't see any fucking standouts. If you want to talk about like different like comparisons and shit like that, like, Kenny Pickett coming out of Pitt was not much fucking better than or worse than Sanders is.
He got picked like 20th, right? He got picked like 20th.
Yeah, he got picked, and he wasn't even supposed to go in the 1st round. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden we're hyping up these quarterbacks this year for whatever fucking reason, and like I'm not buying it. Listen, I say it all the time. When you look at Shedeur Sanders, first of all, he has negative rushing yards for his fucking NCAA career. Negative rushing yards. Fine. A lot of quarterbacks developed that had that. But you're already taking away one element. He's not known for scrambling. He holds on to the ball too long. It takes him a while to read defenses. He has average arm strength, and he's not a running quarterback. What the fuck are you seeing him to make him a number 1 pick?
Do you think he's going to participate in pro days and combines and stuff?
Well, we'll see. I mean, look, there's still that.
I'm gonna guess no. I'm gonna take a wild guess here, and I'm gonna say he is not going to the combine.
He'll be there in street clothes.
He has. If he doesn't go to the combine, this is
red flag, my friend. Red flag.
While everybody's in underwear, fucking throwing footballs, he'll be in street clothes. He'll be.
I mark my words. Shedeur Sanders will not be at the combine. Maybe he'll do a pro day.
Does he play in the Senior Bowl?
I doubt it.
I would lean no towards no.
Because this is where certain guys can actually take a lead. Because I could see Ward or definitely Dart playing in the Senior Bowl this year. You know what I mean? We're talking just a couple weeks away. It's February 1st that this game is being played.
He's moving up.
It's right around the fucking corner. This is a relevant conversation. How do you guys that actually go to the combine and go to the Senior Bowl and play and do well, how are you going to hold that against them? And that's what's going to really happen.
That's what Daniel Jones was able to get Gettleman's eye at the Senior Bowl. Gettleman saw him for a half. He was like, "That's my guy."
Yeah.
Senior Bowl, baby. Mobile, Alabama.
Senior Bowl, baby. That's what.
Like I said, it's going to be interesting. I just hope that it doesn't turn out where, let's just say, for example, they do take fucking Travis Hunter #1, because that's the generational talent that he was referring to. And it was, the smoke screen was that it wasn't. He was hiding in plain sight type of thing. And then all of a sudden, the Browns go there, and Mr. Deion Sanders said, my son's not going there. And the Browns said, all right, fuck you then. We'll take Ward. And now the Giants are sitting there at 3 with Hunter and Ward off the board. What do you think is going to happen? We're not trading back. Are you fucking kidding me? They would be rioting and ripping down fucking the Meadowlands and MetLife Stadium if that fucking happens. There'll be fucking looters out there. And
that's the problem.
And that's it. Now we get Sanders, and now what happens? Now we fucking fail. He's not going to be Jaden Daniels. Tell you that much right fucking now. He is not Jaden Daniels. Get that shit out of your fucking head. You got a poor man version of Khalid Williams. Plain and fucking simple.
I agree. 100%.
I agree too.
Next topic.
Rapid fire. Let's go.
We're gonna be beating this in. I'm gonna at least be beating this into the head for fucking some time now. So, all right, it is what it is. But one thing I just wanted to say, the reason why I brought this part up, which I'm going to say word for word next, is that because of all the belly aching and all the fucking crying and all the fucking bullshit that's been going around about Saquon Barkley. Quarterback, we need to sign Saquon. McKinney's a Pro Bowler. We need it too.
My guy.
All right.
MVP.
It's just enough already, because these guys are having success, but they're also having success on playoff teams that are ready to go. The rosters are in place. These teams are ready to take that step forward and compete for a Super Bowl. Shit, Philadelphia's one fucking game away from being in the Super Bowl. It's a huge difference. We're over here talking about picking #3, and the fucking Eagles are playing this Sunday to go to the Super Bowl. Do you not see a difference in this fucking team? And teams, rather. So Art Stapleton came on.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
He nails it. In my opinion, he fucking nails it, all right?
Dumb tweet. Stupidest tweet of the year.
And for those who haven't read his tweet or his comment and everything else that he said in it, because I think it was out of the North New Jersey paper, whatever it was, he said Giants are the NFL's punching bag and punchline. Could they have kept Saquon? Sure. Would he be, say, 2K as he is with the Eagles? Not even close. You'd be hearing criticism about the failure to win with Barkley after paying him. Maybe more than what is being said now about losing with him. You see what I'm trying without him, rather. Don't hide from this, Giants fans. Embrace it and turn hopeless into hope. Bro, no, that's it. Drop the fucking mic. Unbelievably sad. So stop with the fucking crying. It's the same fucking thing that we've been hearing for years with the Tiny Cutlets. Yo, look enough.
I blocked Art Stapleton over that tweet. I
was come on.
Fuck out of here.
You're getting too emotional, Trader. Yeah, too emotional.
I mean, I do have a dog named Barkley, for God's sake. So this is the hill I'm gonna die on. Like, I just always believe you just don't get rid of talent, and especially when you use a couple $1 million to sign Drew Lock. But all right, moving on. I won't say no more.
I want to say something. I think I said it weeks ago, and I'm gonna stick to it. Everybody I say this to looks at me like I'm crazy. Derrick Henry was a bust signing. It was a failure. Now, the regular season was great. Baltimore was in the same spot they were in this year. They're actually a little worse because they didn't even make it to the Chiefs this time. You know what I mean? So to me, like, Derrick Henry was to get him over the hump. They didn't even get to the hump. They actually moved away from him in that game. So to me, Derrick Henry, it sounds crazy, but Derrick Henry is a complete failure of a signing. Now, that is not an indictment on the player, Derrick Henry. That is an indictment on the expectation that was put on for this entire football team. You know what I mean? So I'm saying the same thing about Saquon Barkley and the Philadelphia Eagles. Anything short of a Super Bowl, a championship, anything even short of going to the Super Bowl, maybe I'll even give him that. We'll see how he plays it out. Like, what would have saved him in my assessment, my bitter assessment of saying how Saquon would be a failure of a signing for the Philadelphia Eagles is because they were there last year. Not really. They lost to Tampa Bay, but this team is ready to win. He was the one to put them over the hump. He had an MVP type season, according to certain people of this podcast that will remain nameless.
MVP.
But what could have saved them, which I think is a mistake on Philly's part and Saquon's part, they should have let him break the record against the Giants. They should have at least he would have had that. They should have let him break. Who knows the next time anybody will ever touch that again? And again, maybe it will happen, but like I would have let him break that record. You know what I mean? Like at least if they would have not come short of winning a championship, they're like, well, Barkley was still a huge success. He broke the record. You know what I mean? So to me, we saw it with Henry, and we're gonna see it with Barkley, and I will hold true to it. And everybody's like, "Oh, you're crazy. He put up crazy numbers. He was so great." I'm like, "Yeah, but he wasn't there to run 2,000 yards. He's there to win them a championship. Like he's the missing piece. So anything less than that, to me, failure of a signing. So hopefully,
and isn't it pretty funny because Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, they fall into the same category with Barkley and fucking Henry. They're the same thing. These teams signed them to take that next step, have that veteran presence at running back, and supposed to push them forward. These are all Pro Bowlers. They all fucking had that kind of season for each of their teams. And yet, depending what happens on Sunday, none of them might be in the fucking Super Bowl. It's already set on the AFC side. We'll wait and see if Washington can pull a fucking upset because that could happen there, and none of them are there. So there goes all that fucking talk about, isn't it crazy that the top 4 running backs in the league were all on losing teams and now they're not. Oh, it didn't mean anything, Vic, because I agree with you 100% because it didn't get them over the hump. So fuck off with that comment. It goes along with what Staple has been saying. I'm going to roll with that shit.
It's going to be hilarious when Philly wins the Super Bowl and Barkley's the MVP.
Then I stand corrected.
Picks for later.
Yo, if that happens, Trina, then I stand corrected. Then it was a great signing.
There's no way Washington is going to beat Philly.
Slow the roll. We got a divisional wrap up first. All
right. We'll get there. All
right, here we got a couple of signings. All right, that kind of leads in. The signings definitely lead in to the divisional rounds, okay? Because rumor has it, all right, after the second game on Saturday night, when fucking Washington pulls off this huge upset to the Lions, that Ben Johnson gets signed for the division rival Bears 2 days later.
Thanks.
He was in talks and saying that he was prepping. So, like, how much of a distraction was the Ben Johnson signing in Chicago?
They should change the rule. They should change the rule.
What's that?
They should change the rule. Why are they allowing coordinators like to do interviews while they're preparing? If I'm at the table, I'm like, dude, get back to work. Like, what is this? Right. We're on a run here. This is what it's all about now. It's do or die. And you're over here interviewing with different teams. They need to, the NFL, it's worse than tampering. It's worse.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's so bad.
100% agree. 100%.
Yeah, totally. Because look, if you take a look at it, here goes one of the biggest upsets of the weekend with Washington upsetting Detroit. And
crazy.
Aaron Glenn just signed with the Jets this week. Today. He literally just officially signed as the head coach for the Jets. So you have both of their top coordinators like hired within days of losing one of the biggest games in fucking Detroit history. Like, yo, it's ridiculous. And there's gotta be something in the rule book that fucking like negates like any kind of rebuilding for next year until after the Super Bowl. That's it. You know what? You lost a year, go to the fucking Bahamas, go to fucking Europe, do a trip, whatever the fuck you gotta do. You forget football unless you want to be a fan, and it's over. Because all this other shit, the hiring, firings, all this bullshit, you can probably fire whoever you want to if you're out of the playoffs. But like, what a distraction that seems to be. Because listen, God with 4 turnovers and all this shit. Like, how much of a distraction really was this to that Detroit team to cause this upset? I don't know.
I know why Ben Johnson left. He was like, Goff sucks. It's like, I'm out of here. I can't fix this guy. Fucking Big Bay was like, I can't win with this fucking clown. Send him to the Lions. And they're suffering for it.
I mean, it's just crazy because it's interesting to realize something like that. But that's kind of why I intervened with that first. But one other thing I wanted to kind of go on is here we go with this narrative of fucking the Kansas City Chiefs and the Texans. I mean, bro, put your tinfoil hat on, Jules. Here, because like this is what I think the referees were fucking wearing during that game. Okay.
Oh, snap!
All right. Like, yeah, I don't know. I can't stand. Oh, that must be rough in the passer. Flag. 15.
Blind man McSqueezy.
Another flag. I mean, dude, there was literally the first
got
one,
props.
the first rough in the passer. Literally, Mahomes
the carrot top.
Mahomes
Gonna be smashing fucking footballs in a minute.
Mahomes fucking in the first fucking part gets hit in his shoulder.
Ridiculous.
Since he got rocked so hard, his head snapped a little bit, and they were like, "That's rough in the passer."
Come on.
No, was it? No, it was not. Then the second rough in the passer, literally the two Texans collided and hit each other. They didn't even touch Pat Mahomes. Bro, it's a fucking absolute disgrace, a fucking joke. I'm sick of it. Not only that, people spoke out about it. And this is going under the radar big fucking time. Will Anderson Jr. had some comments relating to that fucking to the referee and
Joe
everything
Mixon.
else. And Joe Mixon. And Mixon basically said, he goes, look, you got to know what you're going up against when you go there. And you can't really let the refs decide the game. But unfortunately, that's what happens. They fined him $25,000 for that. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, dude, like the fact that they're even getting annoyed by a comment that a player that just lost a tough game that they were going into as underdogs, and there was a lot of controversial calls that were made against them, and they didn't get any back, because we'll get into that, what happened with the games on Sunday. And this dude's now fined? I mean, bro, like you try to tell me how this isn't a cover-up, how this isn't fucking fixed. Look, keep this in mind, guys. Budweiser used to be a huge sponsor of the NFL, right? Now who's the sponsors? Oh, DraftKings, MGM, all these fucking betting sites. So they want to keep this shit going, right? They want to make tons of money. Everybody does. The NFL doesn't care anymore. It's becoming a watered down league because all they want to do is make money. They don't give a fuck about the product anymore. They don't care who, if they have repeat teams over and over and over again. They just want to have Mahomes as the face of the NFL, and that's that. They want another Tom Brady because they could fucking bank on it, even more so, reaching out to the European markets, Mexico and other countries all around the world. It's a joke, and it's got to stop, man. I'm so fucking sick of it. No one wants to see the Chiefs win except for fucking Kansas City Chiefs fans.
I do. Listen to me, Jules. Listen to me before you make that face.
In Buffalo?
I don't like anything that's going on the other side of the bracket. That other conference has two divisional rivals, Philadelphia being my biggest culprit. So we only got 4 teams left. I like Buffalo, but if Kansas City beats them with some ref help, so be it. If Kansas City needs a 3-peat, so be it. I do not want to see Philadelphia or a rookie quarterback in Washington hoist the Lombardi Trophy. I do not want to see it. I don't want to see it.
At least one team, Vin, that you can root for.
I want, it's got to be Buffalo or Kansas City. It's got to be an AFC team. And Kansas City honestly, they don't bother me as much as everybody else gets. Like you're like bothered by them. I'm not as bothered, Kelsey annoys me. He's the only one that really annoys me.
You know what? There's a couple things that bother me. One, it's the arrogance they show on and off the field. That whole Brady regime never did. Brady regime was like, yo, this is what we do. This is our system. This is how we roll. And yeah, we win. Fuck, I don't know. This is what we do. This is how it is to be a
You don't think they should be arrogant? They fucking
no, man. It's not that. Win humbly. Why do you have to be a dick?
Yo,
you want to rub it in everybody's faces when you're getting help from the referees on top.
What are they doing that they're rubbing it in? What are they doing?
The way they talk, the talk that Travis Kelce had on his podcast where he was
Kelsey's annoying. Kelsey's annoying. I can't.
And Mahomes is the same thing. Flopping on the sidelines and shit.
Okay. Yo, Brady did a lot of similar stuff. Brady did a lot
on a hot mic with the referee earlier during the regular season talking about, let me know when they're going to call.
Have you ever heard Brady complain to the refs? Have you ever heard? And also, let's not paint Brady he had Deflategate. He had Spygate. He had a lot of accusations that Mahomes does not have. His accusations are ref help. You know what I mean?
Yet. You know what I'm trying to say? Yet.
I got to tell you.
The Tuck rule, fine.
Right, that's another one.
But there's all these tic-tac calls that Mahomes gets. He gets all these shit.
I hear you.
I personally think
Mahomes is the nastiest one out of all of them.
No
He
way.
wins when it counts. He wins in fourth quarter.
No,
Give him the ball, and he will bust you up.
But give Lamar
a
second or third chance on a drive. Give fucking Josh Allen a second or third chance on the drive.
No,
give
they went toe to toe.
A second or third chance on the drive.
It went toe to toe. Yo, I gotta tell you, Josh Allen to me, there's a lot to prove, and this is a big game for him for his career right now.
Lamar and Derrick Henry wasn't
not enough.
Please.
Not enough. Mahomes is proven, bro. He's talking about Hall of Fame already in his career. Don't knock the guy down. You know what I mean?
Listen, there's
a lot of negative chatter against Mahomes where I think a lot of it's unwarranted. I do. I think Mahomes is nasty. He's good. He's solid. He knows what does he.
Of course, he's an elite quarterback. No one's taking that part of his
game. No, he's not elite. He's number one. He's by himself.
Bro, like, why? Why is he number one? His stats are garbage,
dude. Got 3 rings.
His stats are garbage, though.
His
stats are garbage. So he's Tom Brady 2.0. So until he wins 7 fucking trophies or more, he's garbage. Because that's what they were saying about Brady after 3. Right? You had the play game, you had the fucking kicker, you had the defense, you had all these.
How many MVPs does this guy have?
What do you mean MVP? He's got 1 MVP.
No, he's got 2, I think.
He's got, of course, he's got all the ones for fucking the Super Bowl, but that's just because it's a biased fucking award in the Super Bowl now.
Going to Disneyland.
It's such bullshit because the first year he did not deserve. The first Super Bowl against the 49ers,
Tyreek Hill.
Garoppolo outplayed him. Garoppolo outplayed him for 3 quarters.
He iced the game for the Chiefs. How the fuck he didn't get it is fucking bullshit.
Garoppolo outplayed
on his head early on.
Garoppolo outplayed Mahomes for 3 quarters. Mahomes played well in the fourth quarter, but I agree with you. I agree with that.
Can I say this though? Can I say this?
Same Mahomes garbage.
Mahomes is the LeBron James of the NFL.
Shit. You might get locked up, Jules.
That's what I'm saying. He's the LeBron James of the NFL.
Let me ask you this.
Remember I said that.
Let me ask you this, Jules. Because I think those two are hard to compare. I see what you're trying to say there, but I don't know. I think it's LeBron is the king of the flops. But you act like Brady, you act like nobody's flopping. You know what I mean? Receivers, Jalen Hyatt made a career out of it. Every time he goes down the field, he starts flailing his arms and falls because he doesn't want to get a catcher looking for a flag.
You say Jalen Hyatt? Out there. When is he on the field?
But let me ask you this. Because you have a lot of hate towards the Chiefs. To me, they're in a different conference. I could care less about them. But would you rather see Philly or the Commanders hoist the trophy over the Chiefs?
It depends how drunk I get on Super Bowl.
No. Answer that question sober. Answer that question sober, Jules. Answer that question sober.
All right, because all of a sudden I turned into a big Eagles fan against Brady, but I also maybe hit a couple of boxes. So it was a crazy thing. So I don't know.
It depends on the boxes for sure.
And you know what else? What I'm going to try to say is this: being a Yankees fan, and when we were dominant and we were winning, everyone fucking hated us, right? They did. There's no fucking person outside of the Yankees wanted to see the fucking Yankees win. So why the fuck do I want to see Kansas City continue to win their boring fucking team? They get away with a ton of bullshit. Steve Spagnuolo should be a fucking Giants head coach or defensive coordinator. He should be working for fucking Andy Reid over there for all these years. The fact that he's been there throughout this whole entire fucking run. All right, I'm bored with this team. They're not that impressive. They don't blow anybody out. It's fucking boring. It sucks. They get all these second and third chances. No. Play a fucking fair game and beat a real team. They get a Mickey Mouse schedule every fucking year. It's a joke, bro. The fucking NFL is a joke. It's a diluted product and it's going downhill. And the reason why I compare Mahomes to LeBron is because a lot of people say LeBron fucked up the NBA, and that's exactly what Mahomes is going to do.
I don't think so. But I'll say this. Do you remember when Mahomes played Brady's Patriots and the Patriots ended up winning? Was it Chris Jones that went off sides? Do you remember that? That was
of course I do.
How'd
they make it up to him? They rewarded him.
Oh, now they're making it up to him. Come on,
6 out of 7 fucking AFC.
Now they're making it up.
They did that to the Giants. I'll sign up for that shit tomorrow, bro. Are you crazy? It's not like it's his first Super Bowl here.
To me, Andy Reid's a good coach. He got his just due. He's got his quarterback. Mahomes, I think, is good for the league because he's just so good. He puts all these quarterbacks in check until they could beat him. Burrow was the only one that beat him. He had a bad half. Threw like 3 picks in that game.
But also, you're leaving one thing out. Mahomes is been beating Josh in the playoffs. Josh owns him in the regular season.
Do I care?
Owns him in the regular season, bro. He lost.
Why is that even? Why are you bringing that up? Who cares?
Because you're saying that all these quarterbacks, he's the shit till they beat him. Well, what are we judging this? Has to be through the playoffs. Has to be
100%.
It has to be at home hosting an AFC championship.
Is this about rings? Is this
with
about
one game to go? Where he pulled off a miracle play with 13 seconds left that no one ever seen before.
You're really going to compare
Travis Kelce?
You're going to compare.
Talking about that guy, right?
A win in week 6 in October holds weight with you? Get the hell out of here.
What I'm trying to say is, but like, so what are we? So what? The couple of times they met up in the playoffs is where all the weight holds, right? That's
100%.
The regular. So why play the regular season? Why play the regular season? Play out your division, go right to the playoffs.
Get rid of the regular season.
Get rid of the regular season. Play out your division, go right to the playoffs, and let's fucking go.
Yo, so
else matters.
So beating him when it's not do or die, that makes no sense.
Bro, but like I said, like you got to keep in mind, bro. He had two things work in his favor against the Bills of late. He had that 13-second ridiculous fucking fluke play. It got fucking Leslie Frazier fired.
He had nothing to do with it, I guess.
It was a bullshit thing, okay? And
Bills would have ranked the number one.
Last year in the divisional round, he had Stephon Diggs drop a wide open fucking pass on the sideline, and then Bass fucking go wide right. Like, you understand how lucky
we could do this all day, Jules. Mark Andrews dropped the ball on Sunday. Mark Andrews dropped the ball. Lamar would have probably won that game, but he dropped the ball. We could do this all day, man. We could do it.
What I'm trying to say is, but okay, fine. We don't know if he would have won that game because Josh was getting the ball back with 1:30 to go and
he scored.
And all he needed was a field goal to win.
They scored.
Enough with the talk, enough with the bullshit death threats to Mark Andrews. Because not only that, like you want these different fan bases. I don't know much about KC's fan base, but you don't hear a lot of good things about them, right? You know what the Bills Mafia did for Mark Andrews? They donated at this point, I think it's up to like 80,000 to Mark Andrews charity just because he was getting death threats for dropping a pass. No one talks about Lamar turning the ball over twice. All we're going to talk about is Mark Andrews dropping the fucking 2-point conversion, right? And fucking besides the fact that Lamar kind of threw it behind him in wet fucking slick time.
I got to tell you, Jules, hold on. This is going to come off real nasty, but yeah, that's a nice, cute story, but who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? I want to win the game. I want to win the game.
Now who gives a fuck? Why? Because
Bucky Dent is Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is Bucky bleeping Dent.
Yeah, but listen, guys, don't you remember?
I think, Jules, hold on. I think they donated because they gave the win. I think that was it. I don't think they cared. They were like, "Oh, thanks for the win. Here's $20."
It had to do with death threats. I sent you guys the article. You can read it.
I saw it. I didn't read it.
It was cool. It was nice.
One of the things that's making me feel like the golden era of football is gone is because you used to see huge rivalries in the past, and they're not what they used to be. Right. You also used to see teams that would sneak in there, come out, have a great year. Giants are one of them. Go on to win a Super Bowl. At this pace, you're never going to see that again. You're not. They don't care.
What do the Commanders do?
They want to fucking market what they want to market and make more money.
The Commanders are Cinderella. They're a nice Cinderella story.
Yeah,
they're a 12-win team. Let's see if they get past Philly before we can even fucking put that on there.
They just took out the number 1 seed on the road.
I don't know what happened. Honestly, but we think that maybe because the coordinators were distracted. I don't know. Right? Like, I'm going to hold it until they show up in Philly and beat them this Sunday or not beat them Sunday.
I told you the reason why Detroit. I knew why Detroit was going to lose. You guys were heavy on Detroit. I told y'all. Dan Campbell was the problem there. It's not Goff. It's Campbell.
That was Goff. There was Goff was terrible. He threw like 80 picks. It was fucking horrible. I was yelling at him the entire game, man.
They were in that game. Well,
it wasn't Campbell's fault.
Stop a nosebleed.
Not that game.
The defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, and then
they were all hurt.
And they were still an 8-point favorite going into the game, though. So
they're all banged up, though. They're all hurt. Like, of course, since they got hurt, like teams were like putting up a lot of yards against them. You just figured Detroit would outscore them because of their sick offense. That's what they were doing. Because Detroit was averaging like 50 fucking points a fucking game, and they didn't do it because of Goff.
12 men on the field was crucial.
Oh yeah,
was crucial. Having a play call, Ben Johnson, where you got Jameson Williams. We talked about it on the pod before, where we talked about all these trick plays that they're working. Eventually, that's not going to work. In such a crucial moment, Jameson Williams throws it off the back of his foot. Like,
what's he doing?
Like, I don't know if that's Ben Johnson. I would think Dan Campbell should supersede a play like that. He should know that's going down. Like, Dan Campbell cried at the press conference. I would fire him. I would get rid of him. I know he's a culture changer. That's blasphemy.
I'd take him in a second then.
Yeah, okay, maybe. I would take him on the Giants because of how bad we are. But if I'm Detroit, like I'm a lovable loser. And I think Buffalo's a lovable loser. Like they're just cursed franchises. They're just not gonna get
Yeah.
there.
Can
They're
I?
fun to watch. Their fans are awesome. Detroit was rocking
Yeah, they're awesome.
with the lights and all that. The Bills Mafia going through the tables, what they did with Mark Andrews, it's a great story. But you know what? At the end of the day, all those people are not playing the game. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
They're
Can I
not playing the game.
can I ask you a question about like the coaching? Like since we're kind of like talking about coaching a little bit, like if Spags, if he is available next year,
As a head coach,
would you get because the Giants did remember they did interview him for head coach in 2018. Instead, they went with Pat Shermer. You know what I mean?
he
What
was
could
out
have been?
interim for a while, right? He interim for us for when somebody got fired. Was he out interim?
No, he left us and went straight to the Saints. And he went straight to HC there. We held him back for one more, and that was that. And then he went over to fucking the Saints.
And he
And
was
he
good.
didn't do that great there, and then he bounced around a little bit.
Did he
Ended
go
up
to
with
the Rams
KC
too?
and hasn't
Was he a
left.
disaster with the Rams?
Maybe, but no. I mean,
He
his
did go
his head
St.
coaching
Louis.
was with the Saints.
St. Louis. He went with
The
St. Louis.
Rams.
Yeah, but
He's
in when they
bad.
were in St. Louis, he went there.
I
Yeah,
think he won like one game.
but still, like what could have been if he stayed and actually they stayed the course with the regular people that was in the building instead of going outside. But and then again, who knows? But I don't know what's going to happen next year. Maybe I don't know. We could
Is
be in
he
trouble next
interviewing
year.
now, trainer? Is he interviewing?
He was linked to the Jets, but they went with Aaron. You know,
Aaron
so
Gordon. Yeah.
I think I don't know.
Oh,
If
and you're right, Vin. In
anywhere else.
2017, he was the interim head coach.
Yeah, I thought he was it,
Right.
and he wasn't very good for us. Our season was meaningless at that point. But yeah, I remember him being interim. I don't know. As a head coach, I think he's just a defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Give him a bunch of pass rushers and let that guy run a rotation. And he's awesome, man.
Oh,
He
when
is-
they're ahead, yeah, it's relentless. When they're ahead, he's just relentless with that.
Nah, he's great, man.
It's always been that way. Since he
Yeah,
was
I
the
love
Giants.
him. I do love him as a coordinator. Head coach, I'm a little leery. I don't know if he's got like that leader of men attitude in him, But his
Okay.
defensive guys love him. He's been great.
I mean, but listen, look at Dan Campbell, right? Like, he went from being the head coach of the Falcons, fucking up that Super Bowl, going to being the DC and the Cowboys.
Brian Quinn.
Quinn, sorry, Quinn. Yeah, sorry. Because I had Campbell in my mind because I wanted to say at one point to what you were saying is next year with him losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn like he did, if Detroit fucking falters and they win 8 or 9 games, then you could criticize Campbell. Then you could say he's not the right guy. He's not the good coach. He's not this. But if they win 12, 13, 14 games again next year, what are you going to say to that? Clearly, he's doing
I'm
something.
gonna say this. I'm gonna say this about Campbell. As a culture guy, great. Number one.
That's a big thing. That's huge.
Huge. But as an in-game coach, he's one of the worst I've ever seen. His
Why?
whole
Because he's been ballsy.
He's a
goes
gambler.
on fourth
Yes.
down a lot.
I don't like it. I don't like
Signs
it.
off on trick
Dude.
plays.
I think last year's game against San Francisco was even worse than this year because they were up in that game. He was the single reason why they lost. This is the Detroit Lions. They have never been to a Super Bowl. This guy has literally kept them out of the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. It's his fault, not Goff, because Goff was balling all year. It was this dude's fault. I'm telling you, I don't know. I just think I don't see it where, and I said it to you guys earlier. I'm like that. I never believed in Detroit. I was like, they're not going to the Super Bowl because Dan Campbell won't let them. I'm telling you, he's limited. His in-game decision making is questionable. Where I'm like, what are you doing? Going on 4th and 7 in your own field? Like, what are you doing?
Well, listen, just to kind of like throw something out there. And I just
There's a difference between ballsy and crazy. He's crazy.
We'll see. Like I said, we'll see because Quinn fucking made some real ballsy calls and he got lucky with one.
He did
finally
too.
against
He
the
did
Bucks.
too.
Or else they don't fucking play the Lions. It would have been a Bucks Lions rematch, and who knows what happens in that game because the Bucks defense is fucking worse. So yeah, it's gonna be fucking interesting to see what happens there. Look, I don't know, man. Look, one thing that I have to say is it might have been in the Giants' best interest to stay with Shane and Dable and everything else because there's a lot of coordinators that we're seeing getting hired again. First time, never been a head coach. They're a coordinator again. They're coming in, they're stepping into the role. I say that's like a 50-50 percentage rate that works. And that's what we've done the past 10 years that this franchise has been bitching about. You know what? Names that may come back and be more likely next year might be a Rex Ryan out of retirement, might be a fucking John Gruden out of retirement. Who knows? You know, maybe they hold out for something like that. Or maybe one of these other coaches get burnt out and they leave the current franchise they're in and they become available. So I don't know. There might be some hope at the end of the tunnel. I'm going back to what R. Stapleton said. See, it comes around full 360.
I would love Rex Ryan. I think he has what it takes to be a Giant, you know, but he just loves the Jets so much. It's weird.
Yeah, but he's got a tattoo of the Buffalo Bills logo on him.
Yeah, he's awful.
I
think he can handle the New York media, though. That's what I like about him.
I think Rex Ryan is a circus. I think he is.
He loves feet.
He is not for the Giants. The Giants want nothing to do with him.
Wait a minute.
The way
I want to just stay right there with you for a hot second. What if we bring in Shedeur Sanders and then we bring in Rex Ryan and we just turn this into a fucking show? And it becomes the NFL Entertainment Channel New York Giants special.
As much as people want to
rag WWE Monday Night Raw.
As much as people want to rag on John Mara, I would hope that John Mara will be like, hell no, we're not doing all that. I would hope, you know, but we'll see. We'll see.
Listen, it might put fucking asses in the seats for good.
I don't want to do that.
Get that show right there.
I don't want to be
right there.
I want to win championships. We need to build this right. Do you guys want to analyze the divisional games? Like I know we did like a couple already.
I mean, I think we kind of highlighted everything with that. We did it in a roundabout way.
I'll say this. I think the Rams had a great shot. Turnovers hurt them. Had a great shot of beating Philly. That Puka Nacua catch, I was like, tell me my boy Stafford. I was texting with you guys. I'm like, my boy Stafford. We made a bet, Trader, and you were nervous.
Yeah,
honestly,
my boy Stafford's gonna come through with that Jalen Carter unblocked in a prevent defense comes up with the big sack, and I'm like, oh, it's over for them.
Yeah, it was a wrap right there.
I honestly think that if it didn't start snowing as hard as it did in the second
half, I agree.
That game, the outcome might have been a lot different. That's all I got to say there.
Yeah, you cannot. I don't know how old he is at this point, but Stafford to me he's
like 36. Baller.
He's a freaking gamer. That guy don't quit. It's a good team. I like McVay. McVay said in his post conference, he was like, we're not very good in the snow. You know, we don't really get it out in LA. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? And it's like, and they had those couple of turnovers. At the end of the day, they could change everything about the NFL. But one thing that will always remain the same, two things that will remain the same. You need a quarterback to go deep in the playoffs. And you need, you got to win the turnover battle. Teams that made the most turnovers will more than likely 99% of the time lose the football game. Like if you keep turning the ball over, it's gonna haunt you with the score. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt.
That's what Goff did.
Like Commanders.
I mean, listen. That's what the Ravens did. They had 3 major turnovers.
Yep.
Goff had 4 turnovers.
The Lamar
lost. The only one that did it was the Texans.
Yeah.
Now about Mark Andrews, you guys, I don't know if you guys like Chris Sims or not. I think he's pretty good.
He's good. He's accurate. Like
not bad.
I know where you're going, Vin, and I agree with
you. You guys hear what he said? I liked it.
I said it when I seen it live. I said it. Go ahead, Vin.
Oh, Lamar double pumped it. Was way too patient, kind of gun shy, and put Mark Andrews, who was waiting. He was waiting by himself and put Mark Andrews in a weird spot to bobble that ball. He said, like, yeah, Mark Andrews should corral that in. He's by himself. But he, like, Lamar was gun shy with it when he was looking dead at him. So I don't know if you heard that, Jules.
I did.
I think it was a fair point. I'm like, Lamar wasn't the same Lamar. And Josh Allen, because I know how many people love Josh Allen on this planet. And I'm like, I like him, but everybody needs to relax.
Yeah.
He scored 6 points in the second half. Very conservative. He ran, but it was a very conservative game for, I guess, your MVP. But what do you think about that, Jules? What Lamar? Do you remember the play? Like, do you think Lamar
the 2-point conversion?
The 2-point conversion, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I totally remember because for some reason I was feeling they were going to get it. And then I looked up at the clock and I was like, Lamar fucked up because of what I fucking criticized him for earlier in the year when I said his clock management sucks. He literally was leaving like almost 1:40 on the clock for Josh with 2 timeouts in a tie football game. They pick up a quick fucking first down, move the ball a little bit. All of a sudden, he's got like a minute with 2 timeouts to operate and get his team in field goal range, which you see all the guys do all the fucking time. So I thought he left way too much time on the clock. Even if Andrews catches that 2-point conversion, I think the Bills go down the field at least put themselves in the opportunity to kick a field goal and win that game.
Probably.
So that was the mistake there that I immediately noticed. When I saw him drop it, I thought it was crazy. I didn't really get a good analyze and look to it till later on. And I guess you're right that Sims was one of the first people to really kind of analyze it and break it down, frame by frame and see it. Yeah, I mean, you clearly see Andrews reaching back for the football. You know what I mean? And like
he's waiting. He was like, put him in like weird.
I don't know. I don't know if Lamar was like so surprised that play worked as well as it did. Because don't forget, it was a huge misdirection. The defense got caught. It was a great call. It was a great call offensively. You can't do it. But so maybe he thought it was going to open a little later and then couldn't believe it. It was like, holy shit, he's wide open. Hesitated for that split second and then threw the ball and it was a little behind. I don't get it. I don't know what happened there.
And Lamar wasn't the same player. They moved away from Derrick Henry. Always a bridesmaid, Lamar. Always a bridesmaid, Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to you, Kelly, in Murphy's Law, who loves the Ravens. That Ravens team will never win you a championship. You didn't even get to Mahomes this time. Yeah, so I don't know. And then I guess we touched all the games. Do you guys want to do the college football game or you want to do that later?
I mean, look, the college football game went as
I want to talk about it.
Was going to go. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind that Ohio State was going to beat Notre Dame.
But I thought that Notre Dame comeback was for real. That Notre Dame comeback was for real. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, holy shit, they're coming back for real. Why kick the field goal? I know it's 4th and long or whatever, but
I don't know.
I would have went for it. If you kick the field goal, it goes from 16 to 13. Either way, you would have needed to score 2 touchdowns and get 2 2-point conversions. If you score there and you get a stop and you come down and score again, it's a 6-point game. You can literally win with an extra point. So what do you have to lose there in that sense? You get stopped on 4th down, it's the same thing as missing. No one thought he was going to break the fucking left field goal post with how hard he kicked it. And that shit went off, bro. That shit was so loud, I had to lower my TV. That shit so loud.
Second half was pretty good, though. I thought the second half was something to watch.
Listen, they made it enjoyable to watch, but it was clear that Ohio State had taken their fucking foot off the gas pedal. Didn't expect this to fucking go down the way it did. It got within 8, and they opened it back up and went right down the field on them again. So,
well, number 4, we saw him live this year. He's intimidating, that guy. That guy is going to be a super duper star in the NFL. I would love the Giants to get him. At that point, by the time that dude gets drafted, Malik Neighbors will be gone. He'll be elsewhere. He'll be with the Miami Dolphins, guaranteed. Book it.
The Dolphins. Stop, bro. Really? Now he'll probably go to the fucking Chiefs because they'll just keep fucking winning.
The Chiefs don't need
him. They're going to win 8 straight.
Chiefs don't need him. Tyreek Hill left.
Keep it real for the Swifties.
Mahomes, baby. Yo, and why is Caitlin Clark hanging out with Taylor Swift? What's going on there?
I don't know.
So
she's a big fan, though, right?
Why was Shepard and fucking Daniel Jones hanging out in Saquon Barkley's suite?
Yeah, because they're trying to
best friends. MVP.
Best friend.
You know what I call
those all
three?
MVPs to me.
Trainer. You know what I call them? Saquon, Daniel Jones, and Shepard. 3 losers. They didn't win shit for this organization. Those guys, and now they're all together. They're like, we're together. Like,
I hate that they're in the Philly box. That's disgusting to me.
I love
Saquon's.
Dude, I love when people talk Giants fans, the worst fans in the league.
We're supposed to be the dumbest.
We're the dumbest. They sit there and they're like, oh, Odell was a beast and this like that. He was a loser. We don't win with these people. Like, why are we celebrating dudes that were just me, stat, and we lost? You guys talk Malik Neighbors up. Last time I checked, we're 3rd in the draft with a great Malik Neighbors rookie year. I don't care.
It's a rookie year. Calm down.
You know who I like? You know who I like to celebrate? I like to celebrate guys like Mario Manningham, Malik Neighbors.
It's on your already.
Hakeem Nicks, Amani Toomer, Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, dudes that helped. Victor Cruz. Shout out to you, Mike Malarzik. Victor Cruz, salsa dancing. He talks about how Victor Cruz is like so overrated. Guy helped us literally win a Super Bowl. Literally started against Rex Ryan's Jets, 99 yards, Christmas Eve. I remember it's a great year. We need to celebrate the guys that helped us win. Ahmad Bradshaw played with broken feet, never practiced, was there every Sunday and was busting everybody. Defense is down, man. Brandon Jacobs told Rex Ryan to go scratch. He was going to punch him in his head. Oh, I miss all that. We have no leadership. We have a bunch of spineless dudes that are trying to recruit Shador Sanders, talking about their quarterbacks and this and that, and toting guns and whatever the heck they're doing, rap videos. It's a mess. It's a total mess. I'm sorry, rant over. Sorry.
Well, with that, and we do have Championship Sunday coming up. All right, we're gonna go. I guess we start with the first game, which is the most hated fucking game on the calendar of the year. Yes, the fucking Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels.
I don't even want to watch it. I don't even.
I don't either. Actually, you know what? I'm so happy that like if I oversleep somehow or I go out and run all these fucking like I'm gonna do shit around the house. I don't give a fuck about that game. I'll watch the second half. That's how much I care about that fucking game. Maybe the fourth quarter. Let me know if it's a close game.
You think Jalen Hurts' knee is okay?
That's what I want to know because to me that is the overwhelming deciding factor in this game. Because if not, you stack the shit out of the box, like kind of play a defense similar to what the Bills did to the Ravens, right? You put all the focus in on Derrick Henry and fucking Hurts or whatever, and stop it. AJ Brown's been a ghost. He's nowhere to be fucking found. The guy had 2 targets or 3 targets last week, and what, maybe 3 or 4 the week before? Like he's not even a factor at this point. Now maybe that's a decoy. I don't know, but it doesn't look like it is. All right, you know what? If they can stack the box and stop Barkley, they probably might win this fucking game. I'm that certain of it because Philly, yes, they've looked good. They've won a lot of games. They've blown certain teams out. But if Hurts is hurt, I don't know if they fucking win this game.
Is the line 6? I thought it was 6, right?
It's 6, right? Mike, where's the line currently? I have it at 6.
It was at 6 again.
Okay,
6. That's how they started favorites the first 3 weeks.
Okay.
They're evil. Philly's evil.
Are we making the picks?
Yeah, I mean, listen.
So, I don't want to bet. I don't want to pick them. Can I?
That's why I'm kind of get over with this one. Look, I mean, they lost to the Bucks on September 29th, and that was the fucking Eagles' last loss. They beat the Browns, they beat the Giants, the Bengals, Cowboys, Commanders, the Rams, Ravens.
They split though, right? They split with the Commanders this year.
They did, but Hurts got hurt in the first quarter of that game.
Oh, they knocked him out. Yeah,
you know, they knocked him out of the game. He had a concussion.
I thought it was a soft hit. I thought
it was. It looked. I thought it was his leg at first, and then it turned out that he fucking hit his head. And
I saw it. I thought it was soft. I was like, they're holding him out to the rest of the season. That's what I thought they were doing.
So that's exactly what happened, and they came back, beat the Cowboys and the Giants. So the Ravens were on there. They beat the Ravens in December. That was a big win for them. They beat the Steelers. I mean, they're just that kind of team. Listen, you guys have been on the fucking Commanders fucking ride all this fucking whole fucking last 2.5 months of the season. I don't know. I mean, I think it's more like if Hurts is healthy, the Eagles are at home, they win. That's my opinion. They win. I pick the Eagles. If it turns out Sunday that he's gimpy.
What about points, though? What about points? Taking them with the points?
I think they could pull out a win where they do cover. It's going to be an ugly cover. It's going to be like a backdoor cover type thing. I really, really see it happening like that. I think they can win by 7 or 8 points.
One thing,
if Friday report comes out and Hurts is like, nah, I've been practicing and all this other shit, I might change my mind. But if he's full go by Friday, I think they beat him. I really do. I think the fucking fairy tale bullshit ends.
Washington did lose their best offensive lineman.
Cosby.
So that's going to hurt. You know what I mean? But yeah, they're playing with magic. They remind me, Washington does remind me of the Giants when in the early 2007, 2008 playoffs, they had that run. Giants started in Tampa too. They won down there and then they kept winning and they're shocking the world. So you kind of got to ride the momentum, I guess. I mean, listen, if I have to root for one of them, gun to my head, it's going to be Washington because, fuck the Eagles. I hate the Eagles.
I agree.
Barkley, listen, I love Barkley, but he's a fucking Eagle. Like, you know what I mean? Fuck him. Fuck the Eagles.
Hell yeah, trainer. Say it again.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I didn't mean that. Sorry. I didn't mean that.
Like a slide, like an eagle.
Trainer, say fuck Barkley. Say that.
I'll go edit that shit out.
Hey, fuck, he's an Eagle, so fuck him.
You know what I mean? But yeah, fuck the Eagles, man. Fuck them.
I think the Commanders. I said last week, I thought the Commanders were going to keep the Detroit game close. I didn't think they were going to win, but I'm like, this Commander team is well coached. They're much better coached than Philly. Philly's got way more talent, but I think Dan Quinn, Kingsbury's, Jaden is not shaken by the moment. Jaden, supposedly he's got this VR thing that he kind of prepares himself, which will become the standard for all his copycat league, and they're all gonna do what this kid has done. The kid's just smart. They don't turn the ball over. They don't abandon the run. They stick to the run. Even when they're down, they continue to run. You know what I mean? Like the play calling, they hold possession. They have drives that are like 15 plays. You know what I mean? They will like drive it, and they get all these guys involved. Yo, not for nothing. How good is Zach Ertz? Like, what a renaissance that guy has had. You know what I mean?
I mentioned him though. Like, one thing that people fucking think about is like, oh, we need a quarterback all the time. Listen, they had Terry McLaurin there. They went out and signed Zach Ertz. They went out and bought in Austin Eckler. They had Brian Robinson already for a few seasons. He had pieces in place. They went out and they got a different they built up some of that whole line so that they could protect this franchise quarterback that was ready to go. Do we really have that with the Giants? I don't know yet, right? So, like, that's the comparison there. And I do think Jaden Daniels he's having that year. I mean, it was him and Bo Nix, in my opinion, as the two rookie quarterbacks that fucking had the best seasons. And here he is in the fucking NFC Championship game. So I guess he does deserve Rookie of the Year. But I'm still going to stick with my pick. I think the hype ends. It's a divisional rival. They know each other. This is the last team to beat Philly. They got to fucking stick up their ass about it. Everybody's been saying Philly this, Philly that. Fuck them. Nobody wants them to win. It's them against the world. And when you put a team at home against a division rival, they usually come out ahead.
It's like Kansas City.
We're gonna get to that game next, my man.
But I think Washington's gonna keep this close. They play Philly historically very well. You know what I mean? Washington's not scared of it. Washington's scared of the Giants. We messed them up pretty bad. We're scared of the Eagles. But when it comes to Philly and Washington could play with them. You know what I mean? Even when they're good. I give you the points on this game, but I still think Philly wins. I could see this game going down to the wire because I think Jalen Hurts does hold it back. I think Hurts is good enough. I think A.J. Brown will be involved in some big catches, or Devontae Smith, or I think there will be some passing going on. Like, the passing game has to show up. It can't just be Saquon, because I got to tell you, the Commander defense, they did all right last week against the number one offense in the league. They got pressure. That offensive line Detroit has is the number one offensive line for 2 years now.
Yeah, and the Eagles are 2. Yeah. The Eagles are 2, so you're basically asking for lightning to strike twice in back-to-back weeks.
But again, I'm not saying they're going to dominate the line of scrimmage, but they will get theirs. You know what I mean? They'll get some sort of pressure, I think, on Jalen Hurts at points. You know what I mean? But with that being said, I think Philadelphia has way too much talent. They're home. You know what I mean? I heard to buy it just to get into the building. The tickets are like over $650.
Of course it is.
Yeah, like crazy.
It's East Coast.
Yeah, remember we
Boston, fucking Philly, New York.
We talk about tickets were cheap in other places. Not Philadelphia. Philadelphia is just as expensive as New York.
Of course it is. LA, New York, Philadelphia, Boston, all that bullshit. We pay out of our asses for sure.
Like Trainer said, gun to my head, if I have to, there's one person on this planet, and Justin, we could throw him in there too. There's one person on this planet though that I don't want to see happy, and boy has he become pretty unbearable. He's unbearable when they sucked. He's become really tough. He's watching. As soon as you put it up, Trainer, he watches, and then he tells me, "So you talked about me." so
wouldn't it be great if Washington beats Philly and then just loses the Super Bowl?
Whatever he's gonna say, it's taking over the industry.
Vin, didn't you say that last week before the Ravens lost rather? That if they won, you hoping they go all the way so that he can feel experience with the Giants in the 2000 and have to relive that fucking moment.
Yeah. So I'm hoping.
What I wanted.
I'll be rooting for Washington. If I'm rooting for both teams to lose, if that's possible. But I hate Philly with a passion. Like, I hate the city. I hate their fans. The Barkley thing is just like the cherry on top. It's like somebody needs to break that guy's jaw. Just end it all. You know what I mean? Blow up the whole thing. Sirianni, I want to see him. Somebody crack him on the sideline too. Somebody just throw the Gatorade messes up and he slips and he falls. Do something.
So both of you guys are taking the points. That's your pick for this week.
I'm taking the point.
He's taking the points too, Trainer.
Fuck Philly cheesesteaks too, man. Fuck them.
I like that.
Well, listen. Wait. You know what's funny?
Yeah, I'll probably take the points.
what's his name? What's his name from The Hangover?
Bradley Cooper.
Out.
At the cheesesteak store downtown.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley
I
Cooper.
want to go, man. I want to go bad.
Oh,
but
the
like
lines
he
are
could have
insane.
opened up one in Philly. Why did he choose to open up one in New York?
He knows. He
He's from
knows.
Philly. He's a fucking Eagles fan.
Oh, was that movie like that? He's really an Eagles fan. He's from Philly. I didn't even know that.
As far as I know, he is.
Yeah,
I
he's
could have
a-
sworn
yeah,
I saw him during
yeah,
the
he's an
Super Bowl
Eagles
when they
fan.
won.
But he lives
That
in the
movie's
city.
good.
He lives in New York.
That movie's good, but it was tough to watch because it was the Eagles, him and De Niro and all that with the Eagles.
Yeah.
What was that? Silver
Silver
linings.
lining or something like
Yeah.
some bullshit.
Silver
Like
Jennifer-
linings.
one
Jennifer
of those
Lawrence.
fucking movies I refuse to watch.
Oh, it's tough to watch. Philadelphia.
I didn't know VR could be used for like anything else besides porn. So this is that's a new conversation. for me.
Supposedly some German company that did it. He does all like cover 3 if he knows like cover 3 is the and he just like sits there.
He speeds it up too,
Yeah, he does it really fast and he
which
does
is good.
all day long. They say he's on it. You know what I mean?
That's fucking pretty smart, man. Because he can speed that up, and now the game's like slower.
Also, everybody's talking about Jaden Daniels for the next decade or decade and a half.
Oh god,
The guy hasn't gotten injured yet. He hasn't been injured yet. Come on.
If only Tommy Cutlitz just didn't exist.
Exactly. Great point.
All right, so that's it. I'm going Eagles. You guys are going Washington. We get to the main event,
Here we
the
go.
AFC Championship game.
Go Bills.
It's a
Go
2-point
Bills.
spread, right? Right, Trey? That's what you have it as.
I have it -1 now. Went to Kansas City -1. Just go Bills.
I think the current spread is 2. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. So you're all in on the Bills, right, Trey?
Give me the Bills.
I mean, look, just
Why?
got to put that out there.
I want to hear Trainer's explanation. I want to hear.
Well, real quick, I'll let them do it. But like, how funny would it be to see the Bills make the Super Bowl for the 5th time in their fucking history and win their first ever against the said Washington Commanders?
That's a
I
great
mean, you know,
story.
you can hold that over Malazek for the rest of his life. You literally got a franchise win their first Super Bowl ever. So I mean,
I
that's
like
a
I
little
like
great.
that, Jules. I like that.
Great.
I
Yeah.
like that.
I just want them to win. I just want Buffalo to win. I'm sick of seeing Kansas City in it. I don't want to see Taylor Swift on the screen again. It's annoying, man.
No,
It's
that's what you
so
want.
annoying.
I want to hear the analysis. I want to hear how you think
Analysis.
is going to win.
Why do I think Buffalo's going to win?
Yeah.
To be honest, if I got to go be an outlet, it's going to probably be Kansas City because, they got the defense. Buffalo, they don't really got the defense. They let up big plays. They got lucky against the Ravens. Lamar fumbled pretty much a pick 6.
3
or
turnovers.
6.
Creating turnovers doesn't count. All right.
No, but listen, it does count. Like they're opportunistic on it, but you know what? The Buffalo, Ravens were driving before that Mark Andrews fumble at midfield. They were going to go be up by like 5 points right there. They were going to get a
But
touch.
that was a fucking great heads up play. Punch the.
It was.
Out.
It was. I'm not taking nothing
perfection.
away from them, but listen, I think Buffalo's they're a little bit limited. Josh Allen has to be Josh
Supposed to
Allen
be a rebuild
to
year.
win.
It's supposed to be a rebuild year for the Bills.
But listen, they got a lot of momentum too. They remind me a little bit of the Washington. They got a lot of momentum going their way. So it's gonna be a tough game, but it's Kansas City Mahomes, man. You know what I mean? And it's in Kansas City. So it's like,
What do you pick?
I'm rooting for Buffalo. I want them, but if I have to bet, it's gonna be Chiefs. I can't bet against them.
Smart man, trainer.
Yeah, man, you're up.
Oh, okay.
All right, I go last on this.
I'm going Chiefs all day long. I don't think Buffalo is as good as people touting them to be. I think Josh Allen has had a wonderful MVP year, but the Chiefs just tread water throughout the year. They finally, as much as I don't like them, they unlocked Travis Kelce, who's wide open all day long, wide open. Like nobody was even close to him. And Houston's defense is better than Buffalo's, I thought. You know what I mean? The pass right. That Houston defense is pretty good.
Yeah, Houston's defense is pretty nasty.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They get after it. I'm going to say this, though. Here's the chink in the armor that we need to keep an eye on that nobody's talking about. The Chiefs, if you had to say what was the number one weakness to this Kansas City Chief team, what would you guys say?
Wide receiver.
No, not anymore. Not when they're fully healthy with Hollywood Brown and fucking, what you call it?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, and the rookie and all that bullshit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say receiver
They're
either.
as healthy as they can fucking be.
What do you say, Jules?
Their weakness is their arrogance.
Is what?
Their arrogance.
No, I'm talking about.
I'm telling you right now. That's what it is. It's a mental game. And if you could get on them early,
No, that's not the answer. Wrong.
behind, I want to see what this Chiefs team does.
Their weakness that nobody's talking about are their tackles. They don't have tackles. Joe Thuney is a guard. He's a solid, if not really good guard. They got that dude playing tackle. He was completely overmatched last week. I don't even know who the other tackle is. So if Buffalo's not a pass rushing team. Like they don't really. Von Miller is like their pass rusher. He's like 80 years old. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like Milano is gonna play the spy like he did with Lamar. Matt Milano, who I think is nasty for the Buffalo Bills, he's going to be the spy on Mahomes, so he doesn't really run. But Mahomes is not going to run like that. But in a game like this game, maybe he will. I think Buffalo has a slither of a chance because I don't think they have a chance like everybody thinks because everybody wants them to win. But Buffalo, I think if they could disrupt Mahomes, remember, Mahomes loses to Tampa Bay, to the Bucks or whatever. Right? Did they lose to the Bucks? Who they lose to in the Super Bowl because Mahomes didn't have tackles? That was Tampa Bay, right?
With Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Right. So I'm like, if this guy doesn't have tackles and you could get after him all day, that's the only way you're beating this team. It's the only way because, like the trainer said, who is picking against them? And they're home. If Buffalo was home, it'd be a different story. But being in Kansas City, being in Arrowhead. Arrogance or no arrogance, these motherfuckers know what they're doing. They have been here before. They're pros. Buffalo is in a rebuild year. Allen has a mental thing. I beat him in October, but I can't beat him in January. That means something. That means a whole lot. So I'm going to pick Kansas City.
Sunday's all about.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to pick Kansas City resoundingly. However, if Buffalo wins, keep an eye on that pass rush. Look at those tackles. Remember where you heard it first.
Yeah, but also, Vin, you left out that you said that fucking Von Miller, big part of their defense for sure, but he is not their key guy. It's actually Epinesa. AJ Epinesa is their real pass rush guy. He's been getting a lot of double teams, which frees up Von, who missed like 4 games to start the season, by the way. So
Von Miller's
fucking a few sacks each. They have 6 each. Epinesa is only 26 years old. That's their main guy.
All I'm saying is Espinoza could also stop the run and stuff like that.
He's a baller. That dude's a real baller.
He's awesome.
The defense goes for him.
Could get free though. Von Miller could get to the quarterback, is what I'm saying. He's
right.
He's only a pass rusher.
Von Miller said because of the weather conditions last week, and because it was Lamar Miller and Derrick Henry, he knew that you had to approach that rush a little differently than you do going against Mahomes. Because let's face it, Isaiah Pacheco could have a good game, but he's not scaring you. Okay, he's not scaring you. He's a good running back. But he's not a scary running.
He's done it before, though. I think he should scare.
Yeah, he's also coming off of injury. He hasn't really shown up in the playoffs.
They got Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt could come into this game. You know what I mean?
Listen, that's what they're going to do. So, but what I'm trying to say is it's not Derrick Henry. It's not Lamar Jackson. They are going to be able to fucking bend down and go after the quarterback a lot harder. Now, look, one thing Pat does, he does scramble very well. And he gets all the fucking calls. So that's what it's really going to come down to, in my opinion, when this is said and done.
I got to tell you, though, generally speaking, I think it's easier for a defense to game plan against a feature back like Henry or Saquon. This is one guy, you know their tendencies, you know. I think it's harder to do it against a committee. Even if they're lesser talents, I think it's harder. It makes your offense more dynamic and a little bit more unpredictable because it's, you know, how they're going to game flow it. You know, that's why Detroit was so nasty. They'll hit you with Montgomery one play, then they come with Gibbs for the next 2, then they go Montgomery again, then they roll out play action with Goff. That's what made them so dynamic. That's why I think this whole like feature running back, I think it's overblown. It's completely overblown to me. I think it's stupid. Give me a committee all day. Sorry.
Here's the only thing that I have to say is with what's unfortunately going to weigh on this game is the referee play. All right. If the refs, which they might back off, right? And this is where it becomes like a double-edged sword that I fucking can't stand, is the refs might back off. But it's still one game at home with a 2-time defending champion fucking team in place in the one game in and win. They didn't have to fucking beat anyone. You understand what I'm saying? They got the bullshit bye week. They took off an extra week. They had fucking 21 days off going into the Texans game. They had monster call after monster call go against them. For them, go against the Texans. That changed the outcome of that game. It changed the dynamics. So I think that this game, at least for the first half, you're not going to see any of that shit. What I could possibly see happen is maybe like a 1-for-1, right? So you had that fucking phantom call on Deion Dawkins when the Bills were driving in the second quarter, and they called that bullshit holding penalty that he fucking didn't do anything. The guy fell in front of him and he literally touched him, and they called a hold, fucked up the entire drive because it's supposed to be 3rd and 1. Instead, it was 2nd and fucking 25. Killed the whole fucking momentum of that drive. And then a lot of people said that pass interference on the sideline at the end of the second quarter kind of could have gone either way. Might have almost been an offensive pass. So they gave him one back. If I see that kind of shit happen on Sunday, we're going to have a real fucking game. And you're going to see this is going to be a fucking true test for everyone. But if the fucking refs put their dirty little hands in and start making this fucking game what it is, the Chiefs are going to win easily. It's exactly like I said, 3-peat. So from a betting perspective and putting money on it, I got to stick with my fucking August prediction. I said that they were 3-peating. It's going to happen. It's over. The Swifty, the 3-peat, dilute the fucking product. Keep diluting it. Keep breaking up the stock and having another split stock and another split stock. We don't care. We just want to make money. That's all the NFL is and sports are these days. Look at what the Dodgers are doing in baseball. They could just fucking buy everything to find every loophole. When the Yankees supposedly would sign 3 fucking big agents back in the late 90s, early 2000s, we were buying World Series. No, the Dodgers are buying World Series, okay? And that's all people give a fuck about. Is just the fucking one team that they want to get behind to make the face of the sport and just roll with it. They don't give a fuck anymore.
Swifty Bowl, baby. All right, I think that's enough.
Well, that's it. That's it. If you guys are betting smart, you're betting the Eagles and you're betting the Chiefs. We're going to have a rematch in the Super Bowl with a couple of seasons to go. I hope we're wrong.
Bet on
guys,
Swifty.
I guess what? We'll probably take a week off, but we'll be back to do a Super Bowl preview episode. Maybe there'll be some extra news or some sort of signings or whatever like that. But we'll definitely be off for a week. Go watch that fucking flag football and fucking the Pro Bowl. That should be exciting.
You guys think the Giants, any big news in the next week or two with the Giants?
No. Honestly, I think for the most part, I think that whole NFL is going to quiet down for the next 2 weeks. It's literally just going to be about this championship Sunday. The flag football and fucking skills tournament that they do, and then we'll be getting ready for the big game. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what it is. That's why I think next week, unless something monumental happens, which I don't know what it could be, you're not going to hear from us unless there's like some major upsets, and maybe if like Washington and fucking Buffalo come in and just blow the doors off of fucking Philly or KC. Ain't going to happen, but if it did, I'd like to come on and gloat about that. But outside of that, it's going to probably be a boring Super Bowl, Philly versus KC in a rematch. Yay, can't wait. Only fucking 2 cities really give a fuck. But until then, we'll see you guys. Enjoy the fucking championship Sunday. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
Go blue. Go blue.
Go Bills.